Hello guys, so today I'm going to do another video in the 10-minute rapid rating climb. Let's jump right into a game. So you get the white pieces here. I think I'm going to play the Queen's Gambit here, which you move d4. Okay, he goes here. Now when he moves here, I'm planning on him pushing this d pawn here, so I'm just going to play the regular Queen's Gambit here. Move his knight here. I can move my knight out here. I can move my bishop out, but I think it might be a little early to move my bishop out. I think I'm just going to do a solid move here, and now I control a lot of the center here. He moves here, which attacks my center d pawn, which is actually pretty annoying. We could push it and trade here, and then try to do this, which I think I'm going to do. If he takes, then I'll take back, and then I might be planning on pushing this pawn. So he moves his e pawn here, so he goes e5. It's an interesting move. I could move my pawn here, and then if he comes down here, then I don't know. Maybe I don't want to do that. We could push my pawn here, or we could... I think I'm going to pin the knight to the king here. I did pass 1,100 in the last video, playing as a 1,101. So these are some decent players here. So he plays his knight here, defending his... or his bishop here, defending his knight. If I take his knight, he'll take back with the bishop and still have this pawn defended. But right now the pawn isn't defended. I could push my knight here, but I think I'm going to trade first and then put my knight here. So, and then he's defending his pawn, but I need to put pressure on this pawn, so maybe I can take it and be up in material. So I think he's going to take down back with the bishop. If he takes back with the pawn, it would weaken his pawn structure on his king side, so castling wouldn't be as good for him. Because like I could use this file to do something good. I'm considering moving my queen out here, having these two files like in the Karakan. I can move my knight out or my pawn to one of these squares. I think if I would move my pawn out, it would be to here, which would be pretty good. And then I could also develop my bishop. So that's the plan. I'm going to try to develop my king side quickly so I can castle. And then hopefully start attacking his king side. So I think we'll play here. Kind of solidify the center here. He castles because he didn't ruin his pawn structure. His king is really safe right now. Well, I'm not even developed on my king side, but he's not developed on his queen side. So we could move my queen here, but I think I'm just going to develop my king side so I can start castling. We could move my bishop to one of these two squares next, but he's not really pressuring these pawns. I think I'm just going to move here, so maybe if I move my knight, then I can push my bishop and get a king side attack going here. And I could even move my queen out too and try to get some files here. So now I want to develop my queen. Maybe I could develop it here, so maybe if he moves his bishop out here, then I could take his pawn. Moves back here. Interesting move. I could castle, which could be pretty solid, or I can move my queen out. I think I'm going to move my queen out because if he develops his bishop, then I could take this pawn and be up in material, and if I can get up in material early, that could really help. Okay, he just does this, and now he got a pretty good pawn structure going while I only have these three pawns. If I moved my queen, then I could also have a connect 4 here. And if I moved my knight, I could have a connect 4 here, which could be pretty good, but I'm planning on moving my knight to one of these squares and trying to push on this king side. So we could move my knight here. This looks pretty good. But I think I'm just going to castle. Just solidify the position. Both of our kings are pretty safe right here. He pushes here, so he's looking to take this pawn. Finally, he puts pressure on one of these pawns. So if he takes, then I can take back. And it looks pretty solid because my knights are like here, and they protect these squares pretty well. So I think that's okay. I don't really need to do much about this. I could move my bishop here, and then when I trade, I do have this file possibly, and I can move my knight here, and then have my two knights and my bishop to attack the king side. That actually looks pretty good, so I think I'm going to move my bishop here. I could look to move my rook to the e file if I wanted to take this, but it looks pretty closed right now. He has a really good pawn structure going, but he has not developed these two. Like, he has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pieces on his back rank when I only have 3. So I'm a little more developed than him right now, but still pretty even. Well, I think I could push this pawn up, so when he takes, then I could have my rook on this file, which could be good. kind of ruin his pawn structure a little bit. I can move my knight here to maybe put some pressure on these squares. And like I can move my queen here. That looks pretty strong. I feel like if I like move this, then it could be a little less safe for my king. So I think I'm going to move my knight here and then maybe move here and try to take this pawn. But he does have ways to defend that, obviously. But if he were to slip, then I could take that pawn pretty easily. So I think I'll want to move my queen here. So if he ever wants to trade here, then I could just take back with my queen. He pushed this pawn, which I didn't really see. I could just move back, since now he kind of ruined his pawn structure over here. Could move here and try to reroute my knight. But I think here is just pretty good. And then if I trade here, then it'll be pretty strong. So I think I'm just going to move back here. If he decides to push here, then that's just a free pawn for me. He moves his knight out here. See, I could push this pawn. Looks pretty solid. I could push this pawn. Maybe try to get something going here. Looks okay, but I don't know. Doesn't look too good. We can move my knight here and maybe try to get this trade. Actually, I like that. Because if he were to push this pawn and try to push my knight back, then I could take, and then when he takes and I take, then I win a pawn. And my knight is still defended by my queen, so that could be actually really good. And right now I'm targeting this pawn, but he still has two defenders on it, so it's not really a win for now. Okay, he defends it with another piece. I could try to target this pawn now. But with what piece? This pawn's here blocking my bishop scope, so I probably can't attack with my bishop. If I move my queen, I could maybe push this pawn and get the connect 4, which seems pretty strong. I like this idea. I like opening this file and then maybe like stacking my rooks and my queen possibly and try to get a good threat here on the queen side, or on the king side. So if he takes, I'll take back. This knight is still defended. Over here looks pretty closed right now, but he could start trying to push pawns if he wanted to, because now that he moved his rook here, this pawn isn't free for me if he pushes it. So I would have to move back, but and then after he takes, then I could like take back here. Maybe I don't know. So this is a really even game right now. It's pretty closed in the center of the board. The only ways that we are going to try to like push through is on like these two files or one of these three files, because I feel like this file could open up pretty easily without this pawn here, and then we could have like some rook battles here. We'll see what he plays here. I am a little bit down on time, but not too bad. He has 3 defenders on this, so I don't know if going for this pawn would be good. Could push my knight back, but it's not under pressure anyway, so I don't need to do anything with that. I could move my rook to one of these squares. I don't know. It seems like a pretty tricky position here. I could take and trade, but then this file isn't open, and there's nothing for me to really trade this pawn with. I think I'll play here, so maybe if I move my queen, then maybe we could push this pawn and maybe have some stuff over here. Because right now I'm not really finding anything on the king side because he's not trading this. But once he trades this, then there could be some open things on the F file. We'll see what he plays here. What do I think he's going to play here? So this rook wouldn't really move anywhere. Yeah, you could try to push these pawns, maybe. Or he could try to like really solidify the position and make like his pawn structure like this. Yeah, this is an interesting game. Like everything's really close. Like in some games, it's like really open and then there's a lot of attacks going. But here, with his pawn structure being like this, everything looks pretty closed. So there's not much that I can do. So I might have to push pawns here. Moves here. He does take a defender off of this. So if I take, he could still win that. But if I was able to push the queen or something, and maybe I could win this pawn, but I don't know. Now, if I move my knight here, then he won't be winning a pawn. So I could do that, but I don't know. There's a possibility. I think I'm going to move my queen somewhere. We might move my queen here, Because now I could push this pawn if I want to, or I could move it here and then move back and then really close the queen side, which I don't know if that's good for any of us, but so he moved his queen here. Even if he trades here, he's still not winning a pawn, and he's not putting more pressure on this file, so he's not winning the knight either. But that move does put his queen over on the king side, so we could have some attacking ideas with that. Trying to think, we could move here, but obviously there's a pin here, so I couldn't do that. I think I'm going to reroute my knight and bring this over, and then maybe close the position. If I leave this open, he does have the knight and bishop over on the queen side of the board, so he could do something with over here. So I might just want to close the position by doing this, because if he moves here, then I could take. And then he can't really push this because of my rook and my pawn, so he decides to move his knight here. So he's starting to transition his pieces over to the king side of the board. So maybe he's trying to set up an attack. This will be a good time to move my knight here and maybe like push here, because now he'll have to move his queen back. Here could be good, or here, or move one here. Obviously he'll get taken if he moves to this square. So he moves back here. Now we can hopefully start pushing on this side of the board. So let's just close the queen side here, really focus on the king side. But this game is like kind of boring because like there's not much attacking threats going on. Like the pawn structure is just so closed here. We'll see what he does. This is where the time kind of gets a little more dangerous, is when we get like 5 minutes 30 to 3 minutes. It's kind of a little. I need to move a little faster is what I'm trying to say. We could push this pawn and then kick his knight back, but it kind of weakens my king side here. He is protecting this knight, so I can't take it here. I could move my pawn up here. It seems okay. Here would be a little more awkward because I couldn't have this file open. So I think I'm just going to push here. Try to kick the knight away. If he comes back here, I'm going to need to think what I need to do here, because he's going to probably have to move that. There's not really anything here, because if he takes here, I could just take back, and then after he takes, we just traded a bunch of pieces. Which, you know, maybe he wants to trade a little bit down, open the king side a little bit. That could be okay. Let's see. Because, I don't know. I keep saying this, but there's not much for me to do here. I could push. Actually, now this kind of opens up. Was this open before? Maybe it was. How did I not see that? So he takes my knight with the bishop. Interesting move. We could take here. I think I'm just going to take here. If he decides to take here, here. And then I could take his queen, I think. But yeah, I'm really looking to get my knight here. I don't know how I didn't see that. Like, it's not completely closed because I can start maybe trying to fork to take some of these pawns here. We'll see. But knight here, there's not any pawns to kick it, so the best he's going to get here is a trade. He moved his bishop back because I was attacking it. I think I could just take back. Or, yeah, no, let's just take back. And then I'm probably going to be looking to move my knight to this square. If he takes with the pawn or bishop. Ooh, he takes with the queen. Okay, that's aggressive. We could move back here. Oh, I like this, I think. Or I could move here. Really defend this and defend the pawn at the same time, so he doesn't have anything here. And then I'm going to plan on moving my knight over here to this side of the board. Dang, he takes that. Okay, he's really being aggressive here. I think I might lose because of this. Dang. Because he started moving his pieces over to the king side, and I might be in trouble now because he did that. Hey, this isn't looking good for me. Here is mate. Dang. Oh my goodness. If I would have moved my knight over here earlier, it could have shook something up. Oh, we can't play here now, because now it defends that. But I think he can still. Oh no, that's checkmate. Dang, that was a great game, though. That close position, I needed to break through somehow. That was a good game. So let's see what happened here. So, start the game with like a old Benani defense from him because he pushed this pawn. When they push this pawn, it's the Benani defense or some version of it. So I played the Queen's Gambit here. I pushed the pawn, and this was really what caused the close position. And then you can see that once he moved here, like this pawn structure was already really closed. And then once he pushed here and moved his rook to defend this pawn really well, like once he does this, it's really closed because I can't really push this pawn to attack this. So he really closed it here. Then he pushes that, and he closes it even more with this. I don't know if he likes to play like this, but move here. And then once he moved here, this move really opened up. And I should have played this so much earlier. I should have saw it. But yeah, and then he started moving his pieces over to the king side, and once he did this, I should have known. I need to move my bishop here, or get my rook somewhere over here, or move my knight here, and then like something with this. But he started just transitioning over here, and then he traded these pawns, and he was able to break through because he has so many pieces over here. Well, I only have like the rook, the knight, and these two are kind of like spying these, but not really doing much over here on the king side. So, and then he was just able to push through with these trades, and then now he has this, and he has these files here, and it's really, I'm really in trouble because the king side is just so open, and I don't have pieces to go defend these squares over here. I don't have my rook over here. My king could have been over here. I should have moved it over there or something, but he was really attacking my king side, and he was just able to deliver off of that, and he kept moving more and more pieces over here, and I just couldn't do anything because he blocked it over with his bishop. And even if I moved here and tried to do this, it was just too late, and then he was able to attack me and win. So that was a great game, showing that if they start moving pieces over to the king side like this, if they start moving like pieces over here, you got to be watching for any like trades and breakthroughs here with all of these, because he also had this bishop spying this diagonal here, like that, and this, and I should have just saw that earlier. I also could have moved my knight a little bit earlier, so I learned a little bit off of that. I really thought that this position over here was completely closed, and even when I moved my knight over here, it's still pretty closed over on the queen side. But that was a great game. I need to be watching for some of those attacks, and I need to try to attack a little better when the position's closed. But anyways, that's a good game over like closed positions like that, where you can't really break through on this side of the board, so you got to watch for anything happening on the other side. Thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe. Bye.